Chris Burnett, Green Dragon Tai Chi. Today I want to talk a little bit about something that I find very interesting, and it's that sometimes when I'm grappling or doing Tai Chi application, things like that, I'll often hear the comment like, "You're very strong." People think that I'm strong. But regardless of whether I'm strong or not, there's actually four principles that I'm using that will make me seem as if I have more strength than I actually do. So yeah, I'm not saying I'm weak. I might be a little strong. So when people say that you're strong when you grapple or doing any martial arts, it's not necessarily a compliment because we want to use more technique over strength. We want to use principle over strength. So there's four principles that I use when I'm grappling that give me what people perceive as strength. So the first one that I use is relaxation. That's one of the main core components in Tai Chi. The next one that I use is whole body connectivity. When you use whole body connectivity, you're not isolating the muscles and you seem to be more connected. You use what we call connected strength. The third one that I use is leverage, right? Getting the right angles to optimize any movement that you do or any technique that you're trying to accomplish. And then the fourth one is breathing deep, coordinating the breath with your movement. So if we go a little bit into each one, the first one, relaxation. So when we relax and we release tension, we get a little bit heavy, right? It's one of the first parts of grounding and rooting. So if someone's trying to move me and I'm more relaxed than they are, it's gonna be pretty hard to move me, okay? I may move, but not so easy. It's gonna feel as if that person has to use a lot more of their strength to move me, thus for making it seem as if I'm stronger. Another thing too, when I go to throw somebody, once I connect in a clinch or anything like that, I release downward, but not only into my structure, I release my weight into their structure, and then it becomes much easier to move that person. And so that also makes me seem a lot stronger than I am. Another thing that relaxation does is it allows you to become sensitive, and if you're holding a frame or ward off Pong energy, whatever posture it is that you're doing, in order to maintain that shape, if you want to stop somebody from penetrating through that shape, you have to relax certain muscles and only activate other muscles that hold that shape with enough pressure by using your sensitivity. What I mean is, if I'm holding my arm out here and there's somebody on the other side of my frame, so if I'm here, it can be a ward off, right, like that, or it can be like we're framing in jiu-jitsu. But if I have this greater than 90-degree angle in my arm, if I tense all my muscles and I'm trying to be very strong, well, an incoming force can start to bend my arm a little bit easier than if I were to relax and only activate the necessary muscles to hold that shape. Now, why is that? What causes my arm to bend, right? It's the bicep muscle. So if my bicep is already contracted, when you add energy outside of that, it's going to bend a lot easier. Now, if I can relax my bicep and as force comes in, only allow the muscles which extend my arm, aka the triceps, to activate as needed to hold that shape, then I'm gonna seem a lot stronger than I actually am. Okay, so that's just a couple examples of how relaxing can give you perceived strength. The next one that I mentioned was whole body connectivity. So that's something we do in Tai Chi all the time. When one part moves, all parts move, all parts arrive together. So whenever I'm trying to move a person, whether I'm on the ground or whether I'm standing, I generally need to incorporate most of my body. I need to be moving from my core. I need to be using my legs if I'm standing. So I'm not just pushing with my hand and my arm and isolating that muscle, okay? So if you take a look at our push in the Tai Chi form, when we load the legs, we push out of the ground. So notice my arms aren't moving very much, it's my body and the legs. So taking that principle into other techniques and just, like I said, incorporating other parts of the body so that You're not relying on just the strength of your arm or your shoulder or whatever it may be, your legs. You're using your whole body. And that is a certain kind of strength that becomes very powerful, okay? The third one I talked about was leverage. So again, if I'm doing a takedown or whether I'm trying to move a person, I'm not gonna be forcing myself into their root. A lot of times when we push hands, you'll see if someone's here and the other person's pushing directly into their root and the energy's going right down into their back foot, well, you're not gonna really move that person unless he's new, unless he doesn't know what he's doing, right? So in order for me to move that person, I need to go through their dead angle. Sifu Jeff Ratcliffe calls that the straight line. So if I drew a line from one bubbling whale to the other, which is let's just say the feet, the bottom of the feet, and then if I went perpendicular to that 90 degrees going this way, well, there's no base supporting me out that way. So it'd be much easier to move me this way than coming straight on and going directly into my root. Now, when I'm grappling or doing push hands, using the hips and the legs, I'm able to move that dead angle or redirect the incoming force down into the feet. So I know where dead angles can be. So if somebody's pushing it this way, if I can adjust my hips in any way to where their incoming force goes down into the foot, then that helps my root a lot. That's just one component of rooting. But knowing this, now I know other people's dead angles, and as we grapple, I'm not just trying to force them or push them in a direction where they can ground. What I'm doing is I'm trying to find that path of least resistance to take them down into. So they teach that a lot in pretty much all martial arts. You just have to know it and pay attention to it, right? So we always want to go for what Tim Cartmel calls effortless throws. So anytime you can find the dead angle, it's going to be an effortless throw. The fourth thing I mentioned was the breathing. Just coordinating the breath with your movement, right? If you've ever lifted weights or done anything that requires you to move a heavy object, it helps when you take a deep breath in and then you exhale on the exertion of force, right? So many times you see people when they grapple, they're out of breath and the breathing is ragged and it's all up here in the chest, and they're not really coordinating it with their movement. They're just kind of breathing and, and doing whatever they're doing, whatever technique it may be, whether they're scrambling, trying to get up or trying to get a person off of them. But if you can maintain deep breathing, and if you want to make a move, maybe you're gonna exhale on that move when you're rolling the person or when you're receiving an energy or neutralizing, maybe you're gonna inhale, relax, and then exhale, express out. That too will give you perceived strength. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not strong. I'm saying that I'm not as strong as people think I am. And even if I were, I don't want to rely on that strength or use that strength, because physical strength is fading. Physical strength fades with age, the older you get. So we want to have something that's going to last us. We're going to have something that's going to keep us being effective martial artists for the rest of our lives. I want to thank you for joining me in this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.